Now the next one is the tough one too. Verse 2 says, "But I have stilled and quieted my soul." Most Americans and 95% of Christians have never stilled and quieted their souls. And what he's talking about, well, he uses the illustration. Let's just use his illustration. It's like a weaned child with its mother. The idea of a weaned child in biblical times were 2 to 3 year olds. They were weaned about 2 to 3 years old. It was never easy to wean a child. It isn't now, and it wasn't then. And usually they had a feast at the celebration. They'd celebrate the child is weaned. But the weaned child is defined really as a content child, not anxious or demanding. Listen to this now. Not anxious, not demanding, filled and nourished, satisfied, resting quietly beside his nurturing mother. So you get the picture of a person who is not at battle with his own life. The picture of a person who's not at war with anyone around him or her. The picture of a person who is content, who is satisfied. It's like there's no more demand. This spring, some birds decided to put a nest in a gutter that comes down from our corner of our house right outside our bedroom window. Every morning, we have little birdies beep, 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 just crying for food. You know, and you heard the squeaky wheel gets, yeah, well, the squeaky bird gets fed. The problem with most Christians are they're still with their eyes shut, screaming for something to eat, and little birds peeping for food because they've not been weaned. And the church is full of unweaned children crying out, not quieted in their souls, not quieted in their spirits, not stilled, but still under the control of their own passions. That's what the picture is. The picture is that the passions are running the person. This is a person, David's saying, who has stilled and quieted their passions. But this is what I want. But I like it. Now, see, we've gone on somewhat of a diet here, Mary Jo and I, and we've lost some weight, and we went on our vacation, and it was very hard to stay on the diet. In fact, we didn't. And the problem with eating bad carbs, they taste good. And the problem with eating oatmeal raisin cookies, my very favorite, cooked right, is they scream at me and they cry out, and the passion inside of me says, take another cookie, you need it. And my body goes, yes. And so my sister-in-law's cookies that are in the bag, I'm saying to Melissa, where's the cookies? As I'm driving down the road, because I need a cookie. And so Kayla's back there and said, Kayla, find the cookies. She can't find the cookies. And my heart is saying, find the cookies! We need a cookie. We need it now. So Kayla finally finds the cookies. And I said, there's 3 in there. I know there are 3 in there. And Melissa said, no, there's not. And I said, yes, there's 3. She said, there's 4. And I went, oh, yes, 4 more cookies. And ate them all. And got home and thought, oh dear. Got on the scale and went, a few too many cookies this last week. But I thought about the scream that goes inside of us. Now it's kind of silly about cookies and carbs, but it's exactly the same thing when we talk about things we want in life. That when your soul is quieted, it stops screaming for what it wants. You don't have to be first. You don't have to get the best line at Sam's. There isn't one. You don't have to be treated nicely. You don't have to guard your stuff. You don't have to be spoken to nicely. You don't have to have your way. You don't have to have what you think you need. You don't have to anymore. That's a person whose soul is quieted and still. Most of the battles in home are over souls that are not quiet and still. If you're going to raise your child, and they start out little babies, all of them do, they start out crying, don't they? And they learn very quickly how to manipulate their world. Cry. And some people never get weaned from their crying. And they spend their entire lives crying out for the world to take care of them. That's why people like socialism, because they've not been weaned. They want someone to take care of them instead of God. They want the government to do it. They want mom to do it. They want the rich to do it. They want somebody to take care of them. They are unweaned in their souls, still demanding. As Christians, stop demanding anything. Start giving. Start giving to others. Start saying it's my stuff. Stop saying it's mine. Stop saying but I need. Stop saying but I want. It's time to start saying, what does someone else need? What does someone else want? You have a need for something? Here's one of mine, and here's another one. Because the other is just childish, unweaned children. You would love to hear the Spirit of God just say, well done, good and faithful servant, stilled and quieted your soul. Life is not about you. You'll never be content until first you figure out that you're not the center of everything, and secondly, until you submit yourself to the will of God and stop demanding anything.